Abstract brainwaves, game genie in the beanie. We ain't on the same stage, leveled up. The epitome of technique can't survive in my current thought.
Other yellow hat guy here, back with another video. And let's talk Black Widow. Yes, this movie features Scarlett Johansson, and it's been a year out from when that movie was supposed to be released. It's got a supporting cast with characters. I don't remember everybody's actual name, but you know, you had the Red Guardian, who was kind of the Captain America equivalent for the Russians. You have who is her sister in this movie, who, you know, in the comic books is a Black Widow herself. She's just not necessarily her sister. And she may not be in this movie either, but we'll get into that in a second. So it's got her and this other family, and they bring that together. Now, spoilers, if you haven't seen this, some time has passed since I saw the movie. I saw it Friday when it came out. And there's really no way to talk about this movie without spoiling it too much in the way that I want to say everything. So this does have spoilers, okay? So, 3, 2, okay, so that out of the way. If you, again, have not seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled, come back and see this video afterwards and we can have a discussion about it. Feel free in the comments to give your review thoughts and your thoughts on what I'm saying, if you agree or disagree as well. And before I continue, please, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you to like, comment, subscribe, and share. You got to share to help us get over the hump and subscribers and views on this channel. So I would appreciate that. So the movie was supposed to come out in 2020, but we all globally had to deal with COVID-19, and so this movie did not debut when it should have. The last movie I saw, matter of fact, was Sonic the Hedgehog back in February of that year. So Black Widow was delayed, like many movies, and with the delay, we were all curious, like, how are they going to comment on things that have happened in other Marvel programs after the fact, with also knowing that Black Widow at the end of Avengers Endgame is still presumably dead, right? She sacrificed herself to get one of the Infinity Stones, and that was it for her. Nobody went back in time, so as far as we know, to save her. There's no alternate version of her. We don't know if that was a Skrull or any of that. All that remains to be seen, but as far as we know, she's dead. So this was supposed to be an origin movie as well, showing her beginning. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, you had the Red Guardian, who you learn was her father figure. What I mean by that is you have these young girls who are taken into this Russian program to make them widows for this, you know, gangster, mobster type guy who is trying to control the world through terror by sending his widows out to, you know, terrorize different governments if they don't give him what he wants. Dreykov is what I believe his name was, right? So as little girls, she and another girl, they were abducted and they had a family with them. I guess the government was trying to stop the mother and father figure from abducting them and taking them to Dreykov to be experimented on, but it happened anyway. And they thought they were trying to flee the country, but it was all a little confusing at first for me, honestly, because I was like, what's happening here? Which one? They got to be showing this for a reason, right? So the Marvel movies are with their own continuity, meaning like 2020, 2021 is like now. So the ages of those characters, they're trying to keep them young, even though we know Scarlett Johansson is not in her 20s. But I think it was like 95 or 96 or one of those years where it starts out and all this is happening, right? So she's protective and spunky and trying to protect her, you know, sister figure. As far as these little girls know, that's their actual family. They're not aware that that's not their real family. And you find that out later, okay? So it flashes forward from those events to, you know, the Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson's character, actually, you know, being in the midst of the Civil War fallout between, you know, one team of Avengers and, you know, another. So she's dealing with that, and while she's trying to avoid being captured, like some of the other Avengers, like Ant-Man and I want to say Hawkeye, all of them were, jailed for going against the government. She chose to flee, and I think she went to Budapest. She either went there or some other place, but I believe it was Budapest. And it was there where she was ambushed by what appears to be Taskmaster, okay? Because you don't know at first, but it was Taskmaster. And you find out that her sister figure in this movie, she was the one who had these vials because it showed her past as well, where there was a bunch of these widows and they were brainwashed by Dreykov, and she had tried to go after one of these former widows who somehow got free of the mind control, or maybe she wasn't a widow at all. But
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up.
Impacted me then, knowing that was supposed to come out July or May or whatever it was last year before said family passed. So, but it really got to me this go around, knowing that Natasha does make that same sacrifice in Endgame to protect her family. You know, she had two families. That's what was so impactful, and I took away from that. She said, "Hey, I got my family with Avengers, and you guys are my family now." And she, leaves this going back to them. So, what did I love about this movie? I will say I really liked the Red Guardian. He was cool. He had the funniest lines. There's a line in there where he just talks about being in prison so long that he's ready to be with women again. I won't get too graphic with that, but it was hilarious. He was just really envious of Captain America because he knew, hey, I had potential to be that same kind of figure, but instead he was rotting in jail. Somehow he ended up in jail, but a lot of these prisoners didn't know he had super serum. You had guys bigger than him who wanted to arm wrestle him, and he's still breaking their hands and all kinds of craziness. There's a whole prison escape scene where both girls go to rescue him to get him out because they felt like they couldn't take on Dreykov without him. So his character was good. I like how he still was wanting to get in the costume and everything. Florence Pugh, she stole the movie. She, nothing against Scarlett Johansson. Her acting as Black Widow was what it was. but it felt like the movie was about all of them and not just her, the way that they at least gave everybody some backstory and showcased, their personality. Florence did an excellent job of being like, kind of the Luigi to Scarlett Johansson's Mario, if there's that. But you could really flip it around. It felt more like Scarlett Johansson would have been the Luigi, and the other girl was Mario. But except for the fact that you knew it was going to come down to Black Widow going against Dreykov, And I wasn't sure if it was going to be Taskmaster that was the main villain. It just really didn't make sense to me, because now that I told you what I liked, I'm going to get in what I didn't like. I did not like how they handled Taskmaster. Taskmaster in the comics is different from this movie, so if you were looking for the same kind of thing, you were going to be disappointed. The character itself aesthetically looks okay. The moves, it had Black Panther's claws, it had a shield like Captain America, it even mimicked Black Widow's fighting style. So, other than the Hulk and Iron Man, this character was poised to, at least fighting-wise and gear-wise, it even had arrows like Hawkeye. So, from a fighting standpoint, Taskmaster could, hold their own. They just aren't modified strength-wise like a Captain America would be, or Thor, or any of that stuff, right? So I would have loved to have seen Taskmaster go against the Avengers. They want you to believe that Black Widow on her own could take on Taskmaster. That was a task that they did not master well, for me. See what I did there? So that out of the way, they actually revealed who this character was. I won't really tell that here. I'll let you see the movie, but that disappointed me a little bit, but it should have been expected. It was, predictable in the sense once you saw a little bit more of the movie. Now, this movie was jumping, again, back to the origin of the character, to in between Avengers Civil War, or Captain America Civil War, and Avengers Infinity War, to the aftermath of all that. There's an end credit scene if you've seen Captain America and the Winter Soldier, formerly known as the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I guess it's still the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Spoilers there. If you haven't seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it becomes Captain America and the Winter Soldier because comics. There's some continuity there. It looks like they're building a team. It looks like they're building a Thunderbolts, where you'll probably see Hawkeye leading up a team of maybe some villains, and they come together and have their own thing going on, in addition to like a Young Avengers. All that is going to happen. Mark my words here. Don't say you didn't hear it here first, because you may have heard it on some of these other YouTube channels, or if you've been reading the comics, you can put two and two together. All right, so that end credit scene, like all Marvel movies, there's a scene, so stay tuned and watch that when you go to the theaters. It just kind of gave some finality to the Black Widow character, at least as far as Scarlett Johansson is concerned. I don't expect her to return, but Florence Pugh looks like she will be seen further in a similar type role. So I look forward to that, because the vibe I'm getting now is Marvel is moving on from having these big contract deals with some of the former cast. Chris Evans was out as Captain America. You had Tony Stark, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. He's out, and I don't know how they could recast him. I think you could recast Captain America, but they simplify that by just saying, hey, we're just going to follow the comics and have somebody else be Captain America. But how do you do that with Iron Man? You really don't. You follow it up with another character who has similar intelligence and technology, and it looks like they'll be doing that there, and maybe that character becomes either one of the Avengers or a Young Avenger. It remains to be seen, because it is a young character, right? They're just getting their bearings with the Captain Marvel characters, so we'll see how that movie plays out. So they're looking to mix up the Avengers rosters with different characters, and the Avengers has always had different rosters altogether, so we'll see. Chris Hemsworth decided to stay on, so we'll still see him as Thor, but we'll have the Jane Foster Thor. And you know, the Jane Foster Thor and Captain America, the Falcon version, they end up, you know, running a team of Avengers together, so it looks like that's the direction Marvel is going. So I'm excited for the next phase. This movie does not play on anything that's happening as far as, you know, multiverse or any of that stuff, because this was supposed to be made way before any of that was even a thing. Way before WandaVision, this movie was supposed to be out. But I liked how this end credit scene at least speaks to that Captain America stuff. So that said, I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. I know some people didn't like it because they hated that Taskmaster was who they were. And maybe they just didn't like the character Black Widow to begin with. I enjoyed the action. The choreography was great in this movie. You can't take that away from it. Everyone, I think, acted very well. If you didn't like Scarlett Johansson's style of acting, everyone else made up for that in spades. So, you know, it was a good flick. I would definitely see it again. It felt more, it was like a hybrid between, like, you know, a James Bond, you know, Jason, just dropped my phone. Bourne Identity, stuff like that. That's what that movie pretty much was like. So let me know your thoughts, what your review was. Have you seen the movie yet? Do you plan on seeing it? If not, not in theaters, it should be on Disney Plus Premium or something like that. But it felt good for me just to be in a theater again after so many months, just to be with friends and discuss, you know, films again. That was a good experience for me. So hope to see you guys in the next one. But if I don't, remember, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Other Yellow Hat Guy out. Captain Sensation.